The old legend of the Forgotten Echoes had always been a local tale, whispered among the townsfolk of Dunwich. It was said that those who dared to venture into the abandoned asylum, the haunted forest, the desolate cemetery, the forsaken manor, and the cursed carnival would be doomed to encounter the restless spirits of the past. It was a tale of warning, but for 5 adventurous friends, it was a call to an unforgettable journey. The sun dipped below the horizon as Jack, Sarah, Emily, Tom, and Laura approached the abandoned asylum on the outskirts of town. The once grand building now stood in a state of decay, with peeling paint and broken windows that seemed to weep for its former glory. They pushed through the creaking front door, which let out a bone-chilling groan, echoing through the empty halls. In self-mildew, rusty medical equipment lay scattered around, and faded patient records fluttered like forgotten memories. As they explored, a sense of unease settled over them. Shadowy figures seemed to flit at the edge of their vision, always disappear in jive. The air was thick with dust and the smell before they could be sure what they saw. Hair-twisted branches forming a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. A thick fog rolled in, wrapping around them like cold fingers. Leaving friends trekked the asylum behind into the nearby forest, which was known to be haunted. The trees stood like sentinels. Jack, ever the skeptic, laughed it off. "It's just our minds playing tricks on us," he said. But as they ventured deeper into the asylum, the laughter died away. The echoes of long-gone screams seemed to resonate through the halls, growing louder with each step. Hair-twisted branches forming a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. A thick fog rolled in, wrapping around them like cold fingers. "Stay close," Tom whispered, his voice barely audible. They moved cautiously, the ground beneath them soft and uneven. Every snap of a twig and rustle of leaves made their hearts race. Ghostly apparitions began to appear, peeking from behind trees and floating just above the ground. Sarah, feeling a sudden chill, turned to see a translucent figure watching them with hollow eyes. She screamed, and the figure vanished. "It's just the fog," Emily said, trying to calm her. But deep down, they all felt the same creeping fear. The forest seemed alive, whispering their names and beckoning them deeper into its haunted depths. Their path led them to a desolate cemetery, overgrown with weeds and shrouded in an eerie silence. Crumbling tombstones and ancient crypts dotted the landscape, casting long shadows in the pale moonlight. A sense of foreboding hung in the air. As they walked among the graves, Laura stumbled upon an old, weathered headstone. The inscription was barely readable, but it spoke of a tragic past. Suddenly, skeletal hands burst from the ground, grasping at her ankles. She shrieked, pulling away, but the hands continued to emerge, clawing at the earth in a desperate bid for freedom. "Run!" Jack shouted, and they fled through the cemetery, pursued by ghostly figures rising from their resting places. The friends could feel the cold breath of the undead on their necks as they ran, their hearts pounding with terror. "Run!" Jack shouted, and they fled through the cemetery, pursued by ghostly figures rising from their resting places. The friends could feel the cold breath of the undead on their necks as they ran, their hearts pounding with terror. They finally reached the forsaken manor, its once majestic facade now a picture of ruin. Shattered windows and creaky doors greeted them as they entered. The interior was dark and foreboding, with overgrown ivy snaking through the cracks in the walls. The atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. A ghostly bride as they explored dude in a window, her eyes empty and sorrowful. In the dim light, shadowy figures moved silently, watching their every step. Tom, venturing down a dark hallway, found himself face to face with a shadowy figure at the end. He froze, paralyzed with fear, as the figure began to advance. The others found him just in time, pulling him away from the horror. "We need to leave," Emily said urgently. But as they turned to go, the door slammed shut behind them, trapping them inside the manor with the restless spirits. Desperation led them to their final destination, the cursed carnival. The rusted rides and faded tent stood as ghostly reminders of a once vibrant place. Broken clown statues leered at them, their painted smiles twisted into grotesque expressions. The carnival was eerily quiet, the silence broken only by the creak of a rusted Ferris wheel turning slowly in the bend. As they moved through the grounds, ghostly carnival workers appeared, their faces painted in ghastly grins. Creepy clowns lurked in the shadows, their laughter echoing through the empty tents. Jack, determined to find a way out, approached the Ferris wheel. As he reached out to touch it, the wheel sprang to life, spinning wildly. He was thrown back, landing at the feet of a ghostly ringmaster who towered over him with a malevolent grin. "Welcome to the final show," the ringmaster intoned, his voice dripping with malice. The friends huddled together, realizing the gravity of their mistake. The forgotten echoes of Dunwich had trapped them in a nightmare, each haunted location drawing them deeper into the abyss. As the spirits closed in, their whispers grew louder, merging into a cacophony of despair. With no escape in sight, the friends faced the terrifying truth. They were now part of the legend, doomed to wander the haunted places of Dunwich forever. Their screams joined the forgotten echoes, a chilly reminder to all who dared to listen. And so the legend of the forgotten echoes lived on, a tale of terror that would continue to haunt the dark corners of Dunwich for generations to come.